In a village on a hot and dusty plain, there lived a boy named Sonu, together with his very old grandfather, whom he called Dadaji. Dadaji was so old now that his back was bent like a bow, and he walked slowly, leaning on a wooden stick. His eyes were dim, and his hands shook a little, and he could no longer work out in the fields as he once had. So all day he sat quietly in the shade of the porch. Now, the busy young people of the village did not pay much attention to their old folk. "What use are the old ones now?" they would say. "They only sit about while we do all the work." And though Sonu loved his Dadaji dearly, sometimes even he grew impatient. "Hurry, Dadaji, you walk so slowly." Then, one year, a terrible thing happened. The rains did not come. Week after week the sun blazed down, and no clouds appeared. The little village stream grew thinner and thinner, until one morning it dried up completely, leaving only cracked mud where the water had been. The wells sank low. The crops began to wither. The cattle bellowed with thirst, and a great fear settled over the village, for without water, no one could live. The strongest young men set to work at once. They dug a new well here, and a new well there, digging with all their might from dawn to dusk. But everywhere they dug, they found only dry, dusty earth, not a single drop of water. Day after day they dug, and day after day they failed. "We are lost. There is no water anywhere. We shall have to leave our homes and our village forever." But all this while, old Dadaji sat in his corner, listening, and at last he spoke, in his soft and crackly voice. "When I was a small boy, there came a dry year just like this one. And in that year, my own grandfather showed me a secret, how to find the place where the earth still hides its water, deep below. I remember it still." A strong young villager nearby snorted. "Be quiet, old man. This is no time for your old stories. Finding water is hard work for strong young arms, not for dim old eyes. Leave it to us." And they turned their backs on the old man and went on digging in the wrong places. But little Sonu had heard, and Sonu, who loved his Dadaji, came and took his grandfather's trembling hand. "Tell me, Dadaji. I will listen. I believe you." So, leaning on Sonu's shoulder, slow step by slow step, old Dadaji walked out into the parched fields. And though his eyes were dim, he knew just what to look for. The old signs his own grandfather had taught him long, long ago. "See there, where a little patch of grass still stays green, even in all this drought? Water sleeps beneath it. And see, the old wild fig tree at the foot of the hill still has green leaves when all else is brown. Its roots have found something. And look, by its trunk, an anthill, and the little birds that gather there at dusk to drink. The earth is telling us, Sonu, here, Min, dig here, child. Dig deep by the old fig tree, and you will find water." Sonu's eyes went wide. He ran as fast as he could to the villagers. "Come. My Dadaji knows where the water is. Come and dig by the old fig tree." At first the young men laughed, but they were so desperate, and had failed so badly everywhere else, that at last they shrugged and said, "Very well. We have tried everywhere else. What harm to try one more?" So they took their spades to the old fig tree, where Dadaji pointed, and they began to dig. Down and down they dug, deeper and deeper. And then, all at once, the dark earth grew damp, then muddy, and suddenly, with a glorious gurgle, cool, clear, sweet water came bubbling up out of the ground. Water! Water! A hidden spring! We are saved! We are saved! The whole village wept and laughed and danced for joy around the bubbling spring. And then, one by one, They turned to look at the old man leaning on his stick, the old man they had called useless. The strong young villager who had been so rude came forward, his head hanging low. "Forgive us, Dadaji. We thought the old were of no use. But your eyes, dim as they are, saw what all our strong young arms could not. You have saved us all." And they lifted old Dadaji up with great honor, and little Sonu held his grandfather's hand and glowed with pride and love. From that day on, the village treasured its elders. Every evening, the young would gather around the old folk to listen to their stories and their wisdom. And never again did anyone in that village call the old ones useless. So remember, dear children, always respect and cherish your elders. The gray hair you see holds the wisdom of a whole long life, a treasure beyond price that may one day save you when nothing else can. This is today's story. We'll meet again in another interesting story.